Thomas Cargill joins us now for more. He's the assistant head of the Africa program at the London think tank Chatham House. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for inviting
So does he
me.
have any friends in Africa anymore or no?
He doesn't have any real friends. There are a number of governments who benefited from his largesse in the past. A number of African governments are very angry with the West and how the intervention in Libya has happened. But actually there's not real interest in any of them looking after Gaddafi. They all want to remain on good terms with the new government in Libya, and they don't really see any upside in accepting him in their country.
Not even Burkina Faso, Algeria, Niger. What about Chad?
No, none of those, I'm afraid. There's been some confusion because some governments have wanted to express their frustration with, as they see it, the intervention by NATO that went beyond the rules of the UN Security Council resolution allowing NATO to intervene. But that doesn't really justify that they would want to take on Gaddafi, given that he'd be such a problem for them to host in their countries, perhaps interfering in their domestic politics. And certainly they want to remain on good relations with the new government in Libya.
Gaddafi was very generous, though, with his oil money to different African countries, building roads and building other infrastructure, right? That was how he was able to be so beloved. That's right.
But money buys you so much. It doesn't buy you genuine love, and I think this is what the Colonel has discovered now. There were governments, as you say, that were very grateful for the money that he passed around. The African Union benefited from a lot of his money, and this is a real challenge for the African Union now to discover whether it really wants to be able to survive on its own resources, and I think that's a useful lesson out of all of this. But in terms of real personal warmth, I don't think Gaddafi really developed any strong friendships with other African leaders. They were increasingly irritated by his interventions in latter years, and secretly I don't think many of them will be sorry for his moving on.
And he once famously told African tribal and traditional leaders to refer to him at a meeting, I think it was in 2008, as a king of kings. And he's someone who wanted to see a United States of Africa.
Yes, and it's this kind of behaviour that irritated many African leaders. President Museveni of Uganda, who has been very vocal in opposing the intervention, has suggested that Gaddafi was a friend of Africa. But at the time when Gaddafi declared himself King of Kings, Museveni in private was very angry, and a number of other African leaders were too. It's this kind of intervention they won't miss.
So you think Gaddafi has nowhere to go but Libya?
He's got nowhere to go. I doubt that he'd want to go anywhere else, but he certainly wouldn't find any friends in the rest of Africa.